Alberta is a lot more than just mountains, guys. And I'm going to take you on a road trip to the east of Calgary, to the prairies, the Badlands. We got musical theater out there, some cool small towns, some ghost towns, and even a short cruise on a ferry across the Red Deer River. Because, people need to get out more and explore. And Banff, Lake Louise, all that's beautiful, but it's way too crowded, and there's a heck of a lot to be discovered out in the east. I learned so much when I was surveying out there, so I want to share it. So I'm going to start with these smaller towns, though, straight east of Calgary. This is Standard, and it has a few hundred people. It's been there a long time. It's mostly focused on agriculture, a little bit of oil field activity out there. Like a lot of those towns, I'm afraid it's slowing down. This is a great town to stop, for a first stop on your way out. It's about an hour out of Calgary, and it's kind of celebrated the rail history, and along where the station used to be and the grain elevators used to be. These towns were so reliant on the railway before, but now everything's moved into super elevators and larger cities and so on. They've preserved things here in a neat little museum sort of spot. There's a perfectly restored caboose that you can get up to and look at, and you can see the park's empty. Everything's sort of self-guided, and there's an awesome public art piece, I guess you could. Yeah, as you drive past, you can see the train station appearing on there. Of course, it looks really great on the ground as well. They don't do public art out in these places like they do in cities with, ugly abstract garbage like Calgary, where they put a bunch of rocks on sticks for $500,000. They actually have some function and beauty in the spots out here. You can get up if you're into trains. Again, it's a good spot to stretch the legs. It's all self-guided. There's nobody staffing areas around here except maybe this friendly cat who keeps an eye on this caboose here. No town in Alberta or Saskatchewan, any prairie town is complete without the old hotel downtown. A lot of them don't keep rooms anymore. This one might still, but the main part, of course, is the tavern, restaurant, and social gathering spot. Those good old tables that used to have terry cloth over the top. Look how wide these streets are. You can tell it was made for tractors and rural traffic. But yeah, the old hotel there's for sale too. If somebody's looking for a business opportunity, it'd be lively owning a spot like that, if nothing else. I imagine there's quite the parties on the weekends. But the downtowns are fading. As you can see, it's a place where businesses kind of go to die eventually. Some of them are starting to revitalize, though. One thing you see a lot of course, is old cars out here. Projects nobody got around to restoring quite yet, I guess. This spot here, Reliable Motors. I don't know if it was a dealership or a repair shop or maybe both. Looks like its time's finished now, though. Old homestead right in the middle of the town. You can see the old wind pump for the water well, the barn, buildings, and the house. Nobody's living in it now, but they're still farming all around through here. And for those long winters, there's a hockey rink, of course, and a curling club. They might not keep everything downtown maintained, but they got to keep those spots perfect. A lot of nice, immaculately maintained little houses around here. Again, if somebody's looking to escape the city, if you don't mind living remotely, it's not that remote, it's only an hour away. The housing here is probably about half the price of that in Calgary. I mean, for value for dollar, hey, spend half the amount on real estate and then you can winter somewhere warm for the other half of the year. So moving on from Standard, we get up to Rockyford, just a little bit northwest of there. Another small town, Originally built along the railway, used to have big grain elevators. Now it's got a feed plant and a few businesses on the go. It's got a larger, more functional downtown than standard, but it's still kind of been closing up, at least in the downtown areas. The housing is still nice. And the nice wide downtown street. Little clock tower there. The essential things, your village office, treasury branch. And afraid some shuttered buildings. Grocery store is still running. It's looking a little long in the tooth though. The old high school. Used to service a lot of kids in these central towns. They were important for that too. Here's an old CIBC bank building. I'm pretty sure it's CIBC. I'm not sure what's in there now, whether somebody's living inside it or some sort of business or something, but they really made nice buildings back in the day rather than banks now if they're just a little outlet in a strip mall. Liquor store, of course, you gotta have that. Restaurant in the 90s too. I'm guessing it's probably Chinese food. And again, the old hotel and tavern. Essential. You gotta be able to get together. And Rockyford's well known for its rodeo. It's on the circuit. If you like rodeos, you'll get a much better experience at Ponoka or Rockyford here or Strathmore. These smaller centers, I mean, you can see by the stands, there's still thousands of people come out to these rodeos, but it's not packed like it is if you go to the Calgary Stampede. And the athletes and the animals are just as good. The experience is a great time. And you can tell, I mean, they've invested that much into this rodeo facility when this area really only gets used a couple of times a year, but when it does, it's a heck of a time. These small towns, if you're traveling in an RV, you know, you can really, I mean, look at the price of hotels now. I mean, just to stay in a dump in a city is $100 and some a night. They got service sites here with, power and water and fire pits. I think they're like $20 or $30 a night or something like that in the off season. I imagine rodeo time, they're tough to get. But there's some great deals to be had. Nice quiet areas to spend a couple nights if you're looking to be cruising around in an RV or even tenting, I guess. And the landscape, beautiful out here. I mean, it's not just flat land and farms. So let's head up to Rosebud. And that's in something of a coulee up north of there. A lot of people have heard of Rosebud. That was, again, a small town servicing the area for agriculture. It was fading away. And in the early 70s, a school teacher from Calgary had a vision and set up out there and set up a theater school and a theater itself in the town. And now it draws over 40,000 people a year. The town's turned into a cool little arts hub. There's a number of galleries, businesses, a museum. And big down in the coulee, I mean, there's a big campground and RV park there. You get some terrain and some bush too, so it's really a beautiful little hidden spot down there in the valley. See the old nets from an outdoor makeshift hockey rink down in the valley there. Yeah, there's the Rosebud Opera House. That's where the theater is. And I guess it's quite something to audition and such to get those parts. The production's in there. And there's two theaters in town, actually, now. The Opera House is the main one. You can see some decent seating for a little theater. There's a dinner place across the road from there as well, where a person can, you get your dinner in one spot, walk across the street and get your meal. And that's the studio stage for a little more intimate theater experience. But this is fine arts, folks. It's really high quality, and it's out in a prairie town. A lot of people have discovered it. That's why thousands come out every year. But, there's room for more people to find this place. And just walking around the town, you can see these cool little spots. That's actually next to the milk jugs. You can see the ashtray, the one smoking area in town. It's even got a nice spot for going for a smoke if somebody is so inclined anyways. It's a nice museum. Predates even the theater, actually. Yeah, a little ice cream stand. Nobody was there at the time, but nice little outdoor one. It's like the town is almost one huge walkable park. And right across from there is an outdoor stage, and that's next to the theater. So I imagine they do some live music functions and other events there. It's the old standard, or not standard, the Rosebud Hotel. I think that's the ticket office now for buying tickets for the theater there if you're looking to catch one of the plays. You just look at Rosebud online to keep an eye on what's up. Of course, they change their productions every couple of months or so. It's a beautiful spot at Christmas time, too. Little art galleries squirreled away all over the place in town. Lots of parking, lots of murals. The Mercantile, that's back there was where the dining area is. Little gift shops if you're looking to support the community and spend a little money. And if you're doing more than just a day trip, which a lot of people do, this town is just packed with B&Bs. You can see them all over the place, and they're beautiful little ones. I mean, some are larger. This is an inn over on the side of the valley there. And there's some smaller, more modest B&Bs as well. This brick place looks cool. Don't know the history, but I imagine somebody of means built it years ago. Lots of nice little houses. I don't know the prices around here because I didn't see any for sale. I think if people snatch one up, they tend to stay. And a lot of them have little galleries in them, as you can see with this one. Okay, moving up to one of the natural wonders, getting into the Badlands, Horseshoe Canyon. This was always, back in the day, used to be just a parking lot off the highway with a nice little unmaintained trail going down. Now you've got to pay a couple bucks to park there, which is okay. They're raising some money to maintain things. You can see a well-maintained trail and garbage bins and parking area, and there's a person there taking payment. A little picnic area. It's what, $2 or $3 a vehicle? I can't remember at the time, but there was one. You can see getting in there. It's so cool with the mixture of the mountain type brush and Badlands at the same time. But if you gotta go to the washroom, I warn you. That's one thing that was a huge disappointment. In fact, it was frightening. And in rough shape. If you're gonna charge to go there, guys, come on, you gotta do a little better than this. The other thing is, what's with the no fishing sign? You've had fishing problems in the bathroom and people standing on top of the seat. Either way, that needs a little cleaning. But it's still, aside from that, maybe go to town to use the facilities if you must. There's a boot cleaner, garbage, bins, and a nice trail, and it's an easy trail, so it's not crazy hiking. There's one bit of a hill to start going down. As you can see, it's got steps and it's graveled. When I used to survey out there, the neat thing was the north-facing slopes you see here with juniper and spruce, and then you just turn to the south and it's suddenly desert-like with badlands and coulees and valleys, and you can get up close and walk right within them. It's a great spot for the kids or for the family or just going out by yourself. It's a nice, safe, easy area to hike as well. We used to run into the odd moose when I used to survey there down in the river valley. Very rare black bear, but it's aside from that, very rare and nice area to get out hiking. In the mountains, you got to sweat those things. Now, the transition from the upper prairies down into the Red Deer River Valley with the Badlands is always kind of cool because it's nice, wide open farmland with the odd valley and spot, but it's pretty flat, and then suddenly you just kind of drop into this. And this is the highway into the town of Drumheller, which is kind of the main town down that way. I've got to admit, and I spent a lot of time staying in Drumheller and working in Drumheller. It's an interesting town. It's got all the services you need, but I don't. It's not really a place itself to go, I guess. It's got the Tyrrell Museum, which is world class, which is the other way up the valley. I'm not going to go there. I'm going up east of Drumheller to the old coal mine towns and the ghost towns and such. And there's nothing wrong with the museum, of course. I just wanted to show stuff that people don't typically get to. Drumheller, grab a bite to eat, fill your vehicle up, but it's just not exactly a destination spot. I hope it becomes one day. Now, just east of there is the town of Wayne. A lot of people maybe have heard of Wayne because it's got the 11 Bridges Road, which, well, much as it is named, you drive a nice winding road through the Badlands, and there are 11 bridges. It keeps crossing a creek over and over again. Watch for cyclists, watch for bikers. It's a nice ride, but of course it is windy and narrow and has its moments, but it's beautiful down there. And it's got... This valley used to have, I believe, over 1,500 people living in it. Now, it's probably less than 100 in the entire valley. The little village of Wayne itself has just got the old hotel and a couple of houses around it. But it is a cool spot. I'm just giving a sample. Don't worry, I won't drag you through all 11 bridges. It is a nice drive, though. This is the Rose Deer Hotel and Last Chance Saloon. So it's 100 and some years old. And it's a little bit tourist trappish, but it's got real history to it as well. There's a nice little tavern and restaurant, outdoor patio for in summer. I don't know if they open in winter now or not, if they've gotten busy enough. It's been picking up actually the last few years. 20 years ago, it used to be just kind of a hidden out of the way spot. Now it's pretty touristy. A gentleman came over to warn us about the parking. It gets pretty packed in there. But a nice little patio to sit out on for a beer and a burger or whatnot. It also had unusually a little hot sauce stand of all things. So I guess if you want to grab a particular jar of hot sauce, that's the spot to get it. Along the coulees, they got disc golf. I guess, if there's only so much you can do for entertainment and how so much you can develop back there. But there is a disc golf course, and actually it's a nice chance to be able to get walking around in the Badlands and play something of a game. Farther up, there's another one of the old mine sites, the Western Commercial Mine. It was all coal mining through this valley, which again is no longer a big thing. And a beautiful little campground. And these spots are just empty. Now, this one isn't serviced like the other one. I didn't check out the washrooms here. I don't imagine they're great, but they'll do the trick. And still, nice little spots for $20 a night with a fire pit and trees if you wanted to put an RV or a tent in there. Now, going farther up to East Coulee. This was kind of a center of a town, coal mining town, thousands of people living there. It had a large school, and of course, now that it's down to a fraction of the population it used to be, there just aren't kids or need for a school anymore, so they turned it into a museum. And it's a cool little spot. See, nice grounds. I'm not sure why they got the old school bus. I guess it goes with a school. It could use a little bit of a coat of paint. But old fire engine wheels, coal cars, things like that on the outside. I had my daughter with me. She was fascinated, like, what's with this sign saying boys over the door? Of course, back in those days, boys and girls had to go to separate doors. I mean, this predates my time in school as well, but it's kind of cool. That segregation's unimaginable today. Everything's quite co-ed. Heck, we aren't even allowed to separate bathrooms in some areas, but over on the other side is the girls' entrance as well, and the main museum entrance. I also saw a sign saying something about fully licensed, so I'm not sure if they got a little cafe or restaurant or bar in there, or maybe I was just mistaken by what it said. I didn't manage to get inside, I'm afraid. We did have to make a few miles that day. And this is a little natural science education thing or something. Somebody opened in the early 80s. It looks like it didn't make it. It's still sitting there. It's a neat little old building, but it appears to be just kind of shuttered now. And there's the old East Coulee Hotel. It's pretty bland and utilitarian, admittedly. I don't even know if it's still in business, but it's there. One thing that is nice, though, is the old service station across the street. Somebody painted it up and fixed things up. The service bay in that front area. Maybe they're going to make a little something of it later. So heading farther up, you get towards the Atlas Mine. And that was there was many mines throughout this valley, but this was one of the major ones, and they've maintained it. I mean, it hasn't been in operation for, I think, 50 years or more, but they've turned it into a giant outdoor museum, I guess you could say, in semi-ghost town. It is a National Historic Site. It's one of the few spots where the bridge does cross the Red Deer River there. There are guided tours through the mine, and I think you can ride on one of those little trains or something like that. They've kept a lot of the old facilities up for, well, observation and maintaining history. Old train bridge across the river. wanted to sneak around the fence and walk on it, but I guess I'd better follow the safety rules. Pretty cool looking though. Now farther up the highway you get to the town of Dorothy, and one of the first things that greets you if you were a fan of the remake of the Ghostbusters, the recent one, was this grain elevator here throughout the entire valley. Actually, all sorts of scenes from that Ghostbusters movie they made a few years back. You can see the Ghostbusters car going by that same grain elevator. There's a lot of movies, westerns, all sorts of things have been made over the decades through the Red Deer River Valley, The Unforgiven, and I don't know, countless others. It's perhaps a dozen residents of Dorothy now. They got one phone booth. I don't think it's functional anymore. Lots of neat old farm equipment around. It's truly basically a ghost town. Again, it used to be a large town. There's a couple of churches, schools, stores and such. They've maintained some of the old buildings, and they've got a nice old park there. Yeah, there's the old store. I think it closed in the late 80s, so not too long ago. These two great churches. Especially with that Badlands backdrop. It's a sizable park with a rec center there. I mean, I don't know how much goes on with it. I should say more and more a hall, I guess, a community hall. But people do book that for events and things, and there's camping around there. It's good for family reunions, other such things like that. And they've maintained some of the old cabins and historical buildings in there. It's usually pretty dry out there, but this year's been a little moist. So you might want to keep a little mosquito repellent. They were eating me alive while I was trying to film this, actually. They were really lively in that field. Usually not too bad, though. The old original cabins. Hard to believe there was a huge town there once. It's one of the problems with Prairie ghost towns and such. And they built a lot with wood and what they could, and well, they fell apart. So down to Finnegan to top off the day. It's a bit of a gravel road, but a cruise across the Red Deer River on the Finnegan ferry. This ferry's been in operation for a long time. It's free, and it's as you can see, it's a short ride, but it's a cool one. It's an experience, and they'll crank you across the river. There used to be an ice bridge in winter, and then the ferry in summer. I don't know if they still do the ice bridge. Very bow-legged fella, kind of a classic sort coming across, our ferryman to help us there. Not much for onboard service or anything. Yeah, it's about a 5-minute ride across there. And once we crossed the river, just capped off the day with a nice casual drive out of the Badlands up a gravel road. Well maintained one, but if you don't like gravel, yeah, you might want to skip the Finnegan ferry. There's no paved access to it, but it's a nice ride. But yeah, if you take the back route out, you gotta watch for the cattle on the road down there. It's grazing country. Once you get up top, it'll be gone. If you don't like gravel, you might want to end your trip, I guess, at Dorothy. It's all paved all the way up to there. This route will take you south out by the towns of Hussar and into Strathmore and into Calgary if you're heading back that way. I like taking the back roads, and of course you want to be able to take that ferry, but it's a nice circle route either way you do it for a day trip in Alberta. And just that reminder, it's not all just the mountains. It's not Banff, Jasper, Lake Louise, or the city of Calgary Alberta. There's all these gems hiding out there. If you just take a little time to go out and check them out. These towns, they're changing. I mean, some of these towns are getting going again as people realize they don't have to be in the city. They don't have to go to the office every day, and they can work from home. And they're moving to those towns because they can get better value for their dollar, which is great. It keeps the places alive. But some of the characters changing as well, and you're not going to have that same feel that they have today. So you really should get out and explore your area around you while you still can. It's well worth it. It's a nice day out. Alberta, Saskatchewan, the prairies in general, they have a lot of gems hiding out there.